UK retail sales decline. Is the British economy in trouble? Breaking news. The UK retail sector is facing one of its worst declines in nearly a year. Consumers are cutting back on spending, major retailers are struggling, and economists are raising concerns about what this means for the broader economy. Retail sales have dropped significantly, and the latest report from the Confederation of British Industry, CBI, shows that consumer confidence is plummeting. People are spending less on non-essential goods. Retailers are struggling to attract customers, and many businesses are already warning of lower profits for the coming month. So, what's really going on? Why are UK shoppers holding back their spending, and should we be worried about a deeper economic slowdown? More importantly, what does this mean for you and your financial future? Let's break it all down. What's causing the retail slowdown? The UK economy is facing several pressures, and consumers are feeling the impact in their everyday lives. One of the biggest factors is inflation. Despite government efforts to control it, the cost of living remains high. Prices of food, fuel, and utilities have risen dramatically over the past year, leaving less disposable income in people's pockets. At the same time, wage growth hasn't kept up with inflation. While salaries have increased slightly, they haven't risen fast enough to offset the rising costs of essentials. As a result, many consumers have shifted their focus to saving rather than spending. People are cutting back on non-essential purchases, delaying big-ticket items, and being more cautious with their money. Another major factor is the impact of the autumn budget. While the government introduced several policies aimed at stabilizing the economy, some of these changes have tightened household budgets even further. Many experts believe this has reduced consumer spending power, leading to weaker retail sales figures. Retailers, on the other hand, are feeling the pain. High inflation means that businesses are paying more for goods, shipping, and labor. However, because customers are spending less, retailers are struggling to maintain profit margins. Some stores are already announcing job cuts and restructuring efforts to survive the slowdown. What are experts predicting? Economists and industry experts have mixed opinions on what happens next. The Bank of England remains optimistic, stating that this decline is likely temporary and that consumer confidence will recover in the coming months as inflation cools and wages improve. However, major retailers are not so sure. Companies like Tesco and Marks & Spencer are warning that shoppers are focusing only on essential purchases, which could lead to long-term difficulties for the retail sector. Analysts from JPMorgan are even more cautious. They suggest that unless inflation is controlled quickly and wages rise, the UK could see a much longer period of slow consumer spending. If this happens, the effects could extend far beyond retail, impacting the broader economy, business investments, and even the job market. So, what does this mean for you? How does this affect everyday people? If you work in retail, this could mean job cuts, reduced hours, or changes to employment contracts. Businesses struggling to make profits might look at laying off staff or slowing down hiring, making the job market tougher for those in the industry. For homeowners, the slowdown in retail spending could mean that interest rates remain high for longer. The Bank of England has been using high interest rates to fight inflation, but if consumer confidence doesn't recover, they may delay rate cuts, keeping mortgage and loan payments high for longer. Investors should also take note. Retail and consumer-focused stocks have already been under pressure, and a longer slowdown in sales could mean further losses for companies in this sector. If you're holding stocks in major UK retailers, it may be time to reassess your portfolio. But is there a way out of this? What happens next? The next 6 months. What to expect? The UK government could introduce new policies aimed at boosting consumer confidence and spending. This might include tax incentives, support for small businesses, or wage-related measures. However, the government is also balancing budget constraints, so it remains to be seen how much they can do without increasing national debt. Retailers will likely slash prices and introduce heavy discounts in the coming months to attract more customers. While this might be good for shoppers, It puts even more financial pressure on businesses, potentially leading to store closures or bankruptcy for struggling brands. The worst-case scenario. This decline continues well into 2026, triggering a broader economic slowdown that affects jobs, investments, and overall growth. Could this be the beginning of a recession? What can you do to protect your finances? The good news is that there are ways to prepare for this economic uncertainty. If you're a business owner, now is the time to focus on essential products that consumers still need. Luxury or discretionary spending is slowing, but essential items will always have demand. For investors, this may be the right time to shift towards recession-proof sectors like healthcare, utilities, and consumer staples. These industries tend to perform better during economic downturns and can offer stability when retail stocks are under pressure. If you're a shopper, keep an eye out for major sales and discounts. As retailers try to clear inventory and stay competitive, there will be significant price cuts in certain categories. If you've been waiting to make a major purchase, the next few months might be the best time to do it. But the biggest question remains. Final thoughts: is the UK economy in trouble? Retail sales are often seen as a key indicator of economic health. When people stop spending, it signals bigger problems ahead. The UK is currently at a crossroads. Will the economy recover, or are we entering a much larger financial crisis? Are government policies helping or hurting consumer confidence? Will businesses adapt and survive, or will we see a wave of retail closures across the country? And most importantly, how should you prepare for the next few months? We want to hear from you. Are you worried about the UK economy? Will you be cutting back on spending this year? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big market update. Stay informed, stay ahead, and stay prepared for what's next.